everyone, how are we doing? Let me turn this down. Hey, how are you all doing, pals? Not great, I'm guessing. Probably. Probably not great. Sundry Clown Car, thank you for gifting a sub to Molly Noise. Hey Molly, you now have a tier 1 sub and you can use all my cool emotes. Everyone will think you're really cool when you use them. How am I sounding? Give me feedback about my sound, because I've just changed my mic setup and I'm hoping that it's better, and if it's terrible, I need to know. Hey Johnny Desu, hey Fry Thompson, hey Sundry Clown Car, hey Molly, hey Shield Baden. Hey there, three raccoons in a coat. Hey Lorcan Nagel. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hey Spiral Out 19. Hey Shield Wolf Spaces. Hey Nora Meld. Hey Ray Aquaza. How's it going? Okay. So let's dive right into it. No, let's not dive quite into it. I'm gonna update my Nightbot, and then I'm gonna dive into it, and then we will properly begin. I'm gonna update my Nightbot to include a trans relocation resource list, which people are compiling. So let me get the link to that and put it in chat for you all, and then we can get going with this stream properly. But I'll just get that link first, copy it, put it here. Hey Femboy Frankenstein, how's it going? Good to see you. Spiralot19 says, I'm a Texan who's been questioning my gender. Things aren't great. I'm lucky enough not to be a minor though. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. That sucks, but I hope that you have a cool journey of finding yourself, which is what really matters, and should be facilitated as freely and openly as possible. Right, Nightbot. Timers. I'm gonna edit this one. Please. What should I say? Am I writing it to people who want to see the list, or am I writing it to people I want them to share the list? Here is a trans relocation resource list. Check it out and share to help trans people get out of shitty situations. Cool, and that's added, and now that's been added. There it is. There we go, cool. Thank you to Nuki1029 for subscribing. Everyone, please remember, if you're enjoying the stream, fucking hell, consider paying for my time. That's the whole message. There it is, I'm done. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm mumbling too much now, and I need to actually be properly talking, and I've just completely lost energy already. This sucks so bad. Okay, huge content warning on this stream. Everyone should be aware of this and try to watch out. Yeah, okay. I'm going to be talking about a current news item that is happening right now, and I'm going to be talking about a series of previous news items that have happened recently in the state of Texas, to give some context to things and discussing, and the whole thing is going to be genuinely fucking horrible. So I'm really sorry in advance for all of that, but I'm also taking it as read that if you are here, you have signed up to be in that conversation. So be aware. Okay, so Texas Governor Gregg Abbott has just offered yesterday, has offered an interpretation of the law, basically saying that treating trans kids as their authentic gender is child abuse, and he's told Child Protective Services to start actively investigating and prosecuting the parents of trans children as child abusers. I can only imagine how hard this will come down on trans parents of trans children, especially. So we're going to read through, and this is what I mean about the content warning. We're going to be reading some stuff. We're going to read through, to begin with, we're going to read through the Jesus. To begin with, we're going to read through the interpretation itself. So let's go to that. Here it is. The tweet that's being shared around a lot is Gregg Abbott has officially directed Family and Protective Services to begin investigating all trans children in Texas and prosecuting their parents as child abusers. He also instructed all teachers, doctors, and caregivers to begin reporting any trans students they see. This is why I titled this stream, Texas Governor Gregg Abbott has made it illegal to be trans if you're under 18, because that's what that is. That is exactly what that is. It's illegal to be trans in the state of Texas if you're under 18, and it is assumed. I mean, this is just this is just a legal, an assumption when we talk about stochastic terror for violent bigots who will attack people. This is an assumption that any adult trans people you see are necessarily abusers and predators. But this is okay. Consistent with our correspondence in August 2021, the Office of the Consistent with our correspondence in 2021, the Office of the Attorney General, OAG, has now confirmed in an enclosed opinion that a number of so-called sex change procedures constitute child abuse under existing Texas law. Because the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, DFPS, is responsible for protecting children from abuse, I hereby direct your agency to conduct a prompt and thorough investigation of any reported instances of these abusive procedures in the state of Texas. As OAG opinion number KP0401 makes clear, it is already against the law to subject Texas children to a wide variety of elective procedures for gender transitioning, including reassignment surgeries that can cause sterilization, mastectomies, removals of otherwise healthy body parts, and administration of puberty-blocking drugs or supraphysiologic doses of testosterone or estrogen. See Texas Family Code 216.001 AD, defining abuse. Texas law imposes reporting requirements upon all licensed professionals who have direct contact with children who may be subject to such abuse, including doctors, nurses, and teachers, provides criminal penalties for failure to report such child abuse. There are similar reporting requirements and criminal penalties for members of the general public. Texas law also imposes a duty on DFPS to investigate the parents of a child who is subjected to these abusive gender transitioning procedures, and on other state agencies to investigate licensed facilities where such procedures may occur. To protect Texas children from abuse, DFPS and all other state agencies must follow the law as explained in OAG opinion KP0401. Okay, OAG opinion. We're just doing the dry stuff first. We've got to read through this. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're going to keep on reading and we'll discuss more properly in a minute. Dear Representative Krause, you ask whether the performance of certain medical and chemical procedures on children, several of which have the effect of sterilization, constitute child abuse. You specifically ask about procedures falling under the broader category of gender reassignment surgeries. Request letter at 1. I don't understand. You state that there's going to be some legalese, I'm sure. You state that such procedures typically are performed to transition individuals with gender dysphoria to their desired gender. Like purchasing your desired car, and you identify the following specific sex change procedures. 1. Sterilization through castration, vasectomy, hysterectomy, oophorectomy, metoidioplasty, orchiectomy, penectomy, phalloplasty, and vaginoplasty. Sterilization... Phalloplasty and metoidioplasty do not sterilize anyone. That's actually just like scientifically, biologically. Sorry, but it's basic biology. That's just scientifically inaccurate. Metoidioplasty and phalloplasty are forms of constructing a neophallus or metaphallus, I think it's called, for trans men, either kind of whole cloth, as it were, or around the enlarged clitoris, and it's a separate procedure for someone to have ovaries or womb removed, or anything that would actually directly affect their fertility. Many trans men opt to retain full ability to bear children. 2, mastectomies, and 3, removing from children otherwise healthy or non-diseased body part or tissue. Additionally, you ask whether providing, administering, prescribing, or dispensing drugs to children that induce transient or permanent infertility constitutes child abuse. Dispensing drugs that induce transient or permanent infertility. If the drug makes a child temporarily infertile, that's what they're asking about. They're asking about an opinion on whether temporary infertility for a child I don't like to harp on for a really long time about how much fascists want to fuck children, because calling people pedophiles is a particular tactic that only points downhill and can only lead to shit rolling downhill. And so I try to keep my discourse clean of that. But holy shit, do fascists want to fuck children so badly. They want to fuck children so badly. It is actually just like a key part of their worldview, and what they believe in is a God-given right to fuck kids. There aren't words strong enough for how inhumanly cruel all of this is, and how inhuman the nature of fascist ideology is. Being prepubescent temporarily affects fertility, I'd imagine. Yeah, you would think. To be crystal clear about this, the ruling, we're not getting bogged down into some other kind of hypothetical discourse here about whether it's inherently one thing or another. The ruling is stopping trans kids from getting puberty blockers, which stop you from going through the wrong puberty to what you actually authentically are. All of the shit that trans people are made fun of for all the time, essentially. My deep voice, my hairline, my broad shoulders, my height. Not that I dislike being tall, just to be clear about it, whatever. But all of the stuff that makes us so dysphoric But moreover, that people target us for, make fun of us, make caricatures of us for, and laugh at us for, come out of undergoing the wrong puberty, and stopping trans kids from having to undergo that is a blessing, and forcing kids to go through that because you'd like the option, because you, Greg Abbott, would like the option of fucking children. Now that's child abuse. Let's carry on. Let's carry on reading. I'm going to carry on reading. How's that sound for everybody? Bad? Yeah, me too. So, constitutes child abuse. You blah, 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 blah. Include the following categories of drugs: puberty suppression or puberty blocking drugs. Supraphysiologic doses of testosterone to females and supraphysiologic doses of estrogen to males. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be pausing again already because I want everyone to note how TERF rhetoric, and this will come up again, but how TERF rhetoric feeds just directly into the most heinous fascist shit on earth. Just like, cool. Based on the analysis herein, each of the sex change procedures and treatments enumerated above, when performed on children, can legally constitute child abuse under several provisions of Chapter 261 of the Texas Family Code. These procedures and treatments can cause mental or emotional injury to a child that results in an observable and material impairment in the child's growth, development, or physiological functioning, or psychological functioning. These procedures and treatments can cause or permit the child to be in a situation in which the child sustains a mental or emotional injury that results in an observable and material impairment in the child's growth, development, or psychological functioning. These procedures and treatments can cause a physical injury that results in substantial harm to the child. These procedures and treatments often involve a failure to make a reasonable effort to prevent an action by another person that results in a physical injury and that results in substantial harm to the child, particularly by parents, counselors, and physicians. Oh, geez. Beyond the obvious harm of permanently sterilizing a child, beyond the obvious harm of permanently sterilizing a child. Beyond the obvious harm of permanently sterilizing a child. Beyond the obvious harm of permanently sterilizing a child, these procedures and treatments can cause side effects and harms beyond permanent infertility, including serious mental health effects. Oh, that's cool. That's sure. Venous thrombosis/thromboembolism, so blood clots. They're counted by exercising enough, something that trans people can do if your society isn't the most heinously evil, hateful thing on earth. And trans people feel comfortable going outside in your society. I take vitamin D capsules every day of my life because I have a really, really impressive vitamin D deficiency. My doctor was actually impressed. She said, "Congratulations, you're trans," because it's endemic to the trans community. It's a serious it's a serious thing that trans people don't go outside because we're afraid of people attacking us and making fun of us and bullying us and trying to stop us using the bathroom. Oh wow. There are a lot of things that I could say about my feelings about Greg Abbott that I can't say because I would get banned off Twitch. How's that for freedom of speech? Let's carry on reading, shall we? Right. increased risk of cardiovascular disease, that'll also be from staying inside, weight gain, decreased libido, hypertriglyceridemia, elevated blood pressure, decreased glucose tolerance, gallbladder disease, benign oh geez, benign pituitary prolactinoma, lowered and elevated triglycerides, increased homocysteine levels, hepatotoxicity, polycythemia, sleep apnea, insulin resistance, chronic pelvic pain, and increased cancer and stroke risk. Just all the shit that's tied to trans people not feeling comfortable going outside. Just a ton of stuff that either could be remedied by trans people being able to be made comfortable, feel comfortable going outside, or or shit that is just directly caused by not being able to go outside. Cool, neat, cool and neat. Cool and neat. I love it so much. That's great. I also love pointing to a correlation with gallbladder disease. It reminds me handily of how many trans people can contract urinary tract infections because they don't feel that there's anywhere safe to pee. Cool. Normal society. Yay. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sick of reading this already. This sucks. I'm not gonna read more of this. This sucks too bad. It actually is just the worst thing. So let's read this instead. Unsurprisingly, Texas cites Tavistock versus Bell, the UK case that was later overturned that banned youth from transition care in the UK for a short time. I wonder if the Biden administration will step in on this human rights crisis that's going on under their own governmental jurisdiction, or if Kamala Harris, Joe Biden et al. Are just the virtue signaling fake ally pieces of shit that everybody knows them to be. Oh, it's the latter. Kamala Harris sent a trans woman to a men's prison where she died 4 hours later. These fucking liberals who let this shit happen, who have the power to stop this shit and just let this shit happen. Just no words. There are no words. What do I say? What do I say about these fucking liberals? What would you like to say about that? Let's read some of the chat. Let's just read some of the chat, shall we? Because there's going to be a lot of focus on Gregg Abbott and a lot of rightful hatred of Gregg Abbott and a lot of people who feel like their only path to freedom is to do horrendous violence to Gregg Abbott. But that's just people's feelings, which are fairly, that's how people feel all sorts of ways, all sorts of times. But let's see how chat are feeling. That's the one that I really want to know about. Oh no, the kids with decreased libido. Yeah. Yeah, imagine. Kids having decreased libido. What a horrible thing if you want to fuck children, like Gregg Abbott does. Missed the start and can sadly not stay. Will this be posted to YouTube or should I look for it in the archives? It will be in the on the archive channel. So if you look for, I don't know if you're saying you're aware of that, there is an archive channel where things stay up permanently. Some people are watching me say this on there right now. If you search for Sophie from Mars streams, you'll get the YouTube channel. Okay. They really think that people are born just to procreate. We can't have trans people's health getting in the way. I will be reading something in a minute too. It's very good, very, very exactly correct geometric shapes. I'm actually working on a thing this year, and I'm more convinced of how valuable it is all the time, which is about how the only ruling class ideology is eugenics. Like, we think that there are these different ruling class ideologies, but actually, like, it's all, no matter what specific form it takes, it's all eugenics. And the creepy obsession with children being able to kids being able to have kids is very much continued part of the obvious eugenicist nature of ruling class ideologies. Blah, 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 blah. Right. They just don't want trans people to exist, and I think, yeah, I don't want transphobes to exist either. Yeah, exactly. But they have a choice. They could just stop being the worst, most vile scum in the world. They could, you know. It's free and easy. Sorry, I'm trying to read people's messages, and I'm just so distracted. It sucks. I'm furious, Sophie. Oh, well, join the club. You can't cite overturned UK. You can't cite overturned UK cases in US law, I'm pretty sure. So, let's go and read through what is actually written here, because there's an interesting discussion to be had about that. The depressing side of which is basically they can do whatever the fuck they want. I doubt that the ACLU or anyone like that is going to be able to do anything. It's only something like executive powers that would be able to really step in to do anything. I don't think that a legal challenge is going to go through and change anything here, but let's read it. The surgical and chemical procedures you ask about can and do cause sterilization. Similarly, the treatments you ask about often involve puberty-blocking medications. Such medications suppress the body's production of estrogen or testosterone to prevent puberty and are being used in this context to pause the sexual development of a person that occurs during puberty. Good Lord. The use of these chemical procedures for this purpose is not approved by the Federal Food and Drug Administration. Okay. Nice. Cool. Normal. Yeah. The Food and Drug Administration is directly funded by the drug companies who apply for patents through it. That's who pays their salaries, and is considered an off-label use of the medications. Yeah, pretty much all trans medicine is considered an off-use application of the medicine because people hate trans people so much, and they try so hard to hide that we exist, and they try so hard to stop anyone from being able to transition. Cool. These chemical procedures prevent a person's body from developing and the capability to procreate. There is insufficient medical evidence available to demonstrate that discontinuing the medication resumes. Resumes what? Is there not a... Oh, there it is. Resumes a normal puberty process. Sorry, I thought the rest was all notes, and I was trying to look on the next page. There is insufficient medical evidence available to demonstrate that discontinuing the medication resumes a normal puberty process. That's not true. That's a lie. That's lying. That's just lying. That's cool. That part is just lying. Precocious puberty is a condition where people undergo puberty sooner than is medically typical. And for many kids, it's distressing. And because it's distressing and sometimes can cause other complicating medical side effects, doctors prescribe puberty blockers to those kids. And you know what happens to the kids who come off of those puberty blockers a couple of years later, or 5 years later, if they were a more extreme case? They go through the puberty they were about to go through before. That's exactly what happens, and that's a lie. I love lies. I love lying. I love to lie. I'm just gonna read out the bottom bit. Can you see my mouse on this? Oh, I'll just point here. I'm gonna read out this bottom bit here, because when I'm in the other screen, my camera is right there, so it covers up the the text. Otherwise, it would be a whole faff to rearrange. So I'm just going to read it out now. So it's citation 134, referring to Bell's conclusion that a clinic's practice of prescribing puberty-suppressing medication to individuals under 18 with gender dysphoria and determining such treatment with it was experimental. Thus, because the procedures you inquire about can and do result in sterilization, they implicate a minor child's constitutional right to procreate. Minor child's constitutional right to procreate. Constitutional right to procreate. A child's right to procreate. Child's right to procreate. Well, that's one to think about a little bit, isn't it? A child's right to procreate. A child's right. They're protecting children's rights, apparently. A child's right to procreate. Gonna be thinking about that one when I'm up late at night. I think that's pretty horrifying. Good Lord. Wow. Oh, God. Gespenst 25 says, everything is horrible, and every time I wake up, it gets worse. Every breath I take, the world is worse for me and people like me. Every breath you take, the world is better. And every breath Gregg Abbott takes makes the world a worse place. And something can be done about that. Okay. I wanted to give context on who Gregg Abbott is. Texas's anti-mask governor has COVID now. This isn't really context on who he is. It's just a funny headline. What a dumbass. Look at that. Fuck you, Chud. Fuck you, you scumbag Chud. I hope it was painful. So I wanted to give some more context on previous things with Texas regarding trans legislation and the treatment of trans people. But before I do that, I just want to say that this doesn't this does not change the law. What I mean by that is that he hasn't overwritten anything, officially changed any law at this time. Tort law is an important part of many legal systems. For those who aren't familiar, tort law, TORT, is about what has come before. So when you talk about something setting precedent, there being legal precedent for something, that's what that means. So this interpretation of the law, which is what he's offered, isn't actually a change to the law, but because he's instructing FDPS DFPS to go and prosecute the parents of trans kids right now, that will result in a case which will then set precedent, or more likely a ton of cases racing to set precedent that the ACLU or whoever won't be able to stop in time because that's, this is the power of a state. It's important to understand that he hasn't changed the law. He's offered a legal opinion, and then if and when a Texas judge, and Texas judges being Texas judges, they will rules on a first case, rules on a case that upholds this conclusion that supporting your trans child is child abuse, then I'm quite upset. I'm really trying to make it through this, but I'm quite upset. Then that will set precedent, and then that will lead to then the law will have been changed by that judge's decision. And it's important to understand that that's how things can work, because a lot of the time people are watching out for like policy proposals. And actually, when someone is such a piece of shit, and they have enough power, they can just do what they want. They can just do whatever the fuck they want. So it looks like this whole thing might be part of an attempt to overturn Griswold versus Connecticut in the Supreme Court, further eroding bodily autonomy in general. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of a project. It's always part of a project, isn't it? I bet the same people who wrote the abortion drivel wrote this. So Bell versus Tavistock, which Abbott cited, is the case that got the decision to take trans kids in the UK who were currently on puberty blockers off for like 12 months, which was the fundraiser that I did last January, which is why I got this to commemorate raising £100,000 to help those kids. And I think we managed to get a good number of kids through those 12 months, and I really hope that it helped them through, and that as many kids as possible didn't have interruptions to their medication. And the lawyer for that case is actually an American. I don't know if he's American, but has tried anti-abortion cases for the American far right, evangelical right before, because this is all very, very much the same operation. And the citing of Bell versus Tavistock isn't an accident. It's part of the same project. It's them taking the product that they bought and using it for the intention, for the purpose for which they bought it. TERFs are funded by far-right evangelical American money, and evangelicals feed off of the successes of TERFs because that's what the money is literally for. I just like to wonder about this, because I get horrible comments when these go up on my archive channel. I just like to wonder for a minute if there's anyone watching this who considers themselves like a gender critical feminist. Like, can you hear me? Like, can you hear the words that I'm saying? Like, do you watch this far into the video? I don't know. It's like an hour in at this point. Do you watch this far? Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear, like... I'm so afraid. Like, you've got what you want. We're terrified. We're afraid. Does that make you feel big? Do you feel big right now? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel like you're winning something? Can you not see, like... Can you not see that everything you're doing is just about hurting people? I don't know. Right. I want to talk about the legal precedent. He didn't change the law to do this. The law will be changed when a judge makes a decision on a case trying the parents of trans kids for child abuse, for supporting their kid. And that could be as soon as tomorrow, you know? it could be never, because it could be that the parents of trans kids who are supportive flee, and the kids who aren't supported die, and they never actually try anyone. But it's just waiting there now because he's made that ruling, and that's the point. Terror is the point. Terror is entirely the point. So, let's look at a little bit of the context around it. Okay. So this is from 2021, June 18th. The Great State of Hate, Texas declines to ban gay/trans panic defense. I'm not going to read the whole of this. I just wanted to talk about it has a sort of interviewing with a person. But I want to say, in more than 100 criminal cases between 1970 and 2020 where defendants attempted to use the gay/trans panic defense, the highest concentration of cases took place in Texas, according to W. Costin Anderson, professor at St. Edward's University in Austin and an expert on the topic. But the 87th Texas legislature failed to pass HB 73, signaling to LGBTQ Texans like Grayson Rodriguez and his family that the gay/trans panic defense is still an acceptable excuse for violence against vulnerable Texans. The bill was brought to a vote and rejected in the House committee, while the Senate companion never got a hearing. Despite the defense's conflict with federal hate crime laws and a 2013 resolution from the American Bar Association calling for states to ban it, so far only 15 states and DC have passed legislation banning the use of the gay/trans panic defense, with bills proposed in Texas and 10 other states. So, just to if anyone's not following this, the gay panic or trans panic defense is a legal defense for killing someone, where the violent, evil bigot who has killed someone claims that the person was trying to rape them. It's also relevant again to talk about how TERF rhetoric is used by the most inhuman, vile people on earth, to justify horrible violence to queer bodies. All this shit that's trying to get you to associate sexual assault with a particular group of people, that is just to push through to the next phase, which is exterminating them. And it's exactly the point. It's exactly and entirely the point. And the reason I'm mentioning this is just, again, to give some kind of context for what Texas is like as a state, legally, and what the legal context is there. I just gotta change that. 1 second. Yep. Fix that. Okay. And I'd like to say at this point that when I'm saying about Joe Biden, when I'm saying about Kamala Harris, I feel that someone might watch, some liberal might watch and not get quite what I'm saying. I think that I'm blaming, in a sense that means putting the burden of guilt and the activity and the agency onto a party who are undeserving of it. And I just want you to understand that the idleness and inaction of those people is killing people like me, people I love. And any kind of defense of it is vile. Any kind of defense of it is completely vile. The Democrats actively do hateful and evil shit a bunch of the time. But their inaction also is killing people. And I want to say to any cisgender leftists who maybe drag their heels a little bit on this stuff, because they think about Martin Niemöller, right? And that's what they think is their duty as an ally, right? Is that like the first they came for this group, and then this group, and then this group, and then right. So I should speak out and say something, but sometimes I'm just tired. Is what I think cis leftist allies feel, is that they're just sometimes just tired, and my perspective is different. Actually, I don't entirely, I don't see it so kind of individualistically about eventually it'll be you. Like I do and have and continue to say that, like, if you think that they're not gonna come for you sooner or later, you're a fucking idiot. But what I think is that free people, and when you free someone from oppression, they are your friend because you fought to free them from oppression, and that person will love you forever, as they rightfully should, but not because that you should get a medal for helping someone not be oppressed. People should just not be oppressed as their natural state. But that person who's been freed, they saw what you did for them, and then they will help someone else in the same way. Because if they have the energy, if they have, and fair enough if they just don't. Because honestly, like, holy fucking shit, is it tiring being trans. No, you know fucking what? Holy fucking shit, do you cis people, make it hard to be us. Actively. It's an active thing that you're doing. And free people. So, like, come the fuck on. Just if you have any idea of any kind of leftist project, of doing anything, of getting anything changed, of making any difference to the world, trans people are a frontier of oppression in the place where you fucking live, and you should care at the very most minimum least, because they are people who can then help to change more of the world. So this is the Heritage Foundation, which is a really disgusting piece of shit. What are words? Why bother with them? A court victory in Texas against Obamacare's transgender mandate. This was on August 19th, 2021. So a federal district court judge blocked an Obama-era measure that forced medical professionals to participate in gender transition surgery and similar measures. As a result, medical workers may continue to follow their moral, religious, and professional convictions in treating patients when gender issues are involved. We must do much more work to defend conscience rights for medical providers and protect the freedom of parents, teachers, and others to affirm biological reality, is what all of that says. Shall I change over? Do people want to be able to read along? Let me know in chat if you want to be able to read along. Hey, Casey. How you doing? I love you loads, babe. And it's okay. I saw you just went on thing. You enjoy playing Slay the Spire. You don't have to talk about this. You don't have to watch me talk about this if you don't want to. You should just take care of yourself. Any trans person who just wants to duck out and take care of yourself, that's completely fine. Cis people, you're staying the fuck right here is the thing that you're doing, and you're watching, and then you're helping. Gonna duck out and get dinner shortly. Take care. Thanks, Casey. Thanks for saying hi. Right, so this is the Heritage Foundation, who, like I said, are just a huge piece of shit. Someone in chat saying they want to be able to read along, so I'm going to change to this screen. We won't be on it for too long. So this is a far-right evangelical outlet. And I just wanted to get inside their perspective a little bit for a second. So the long march of gender ideology through our laws and government institutions lately seems more like a mad dash. That's the transgenders. It's wacky races. Medical workers may continue to follow their moral, religious, and professional convictions in treating patients when gender issues are involved. We must do much more work to defend conscience rights for medical providers and protect the freedoms of parents, teachers, and others to affirm biological reality. Affirm biological reality. It's ironic, isn't it? Right? Like I already just pointed out. Exactly where they're just lying. They're just wholly and completely lying about reality, about biological reality specifically, and they're it's ironic. It's ironic, but it's not really worth much, is it? Makes this maybe a bitter chuckle. So here's my bitter chuckle for you. There you go. Fucking hell. Ugh, Jesus. Federal District Court judge blocked an Obama-era measure that forced medical professionals to participate in gender transition surgery or similar measures, even against their medical or moral judgment. This transgender mandate saga began in 2016. That's when the Office for Civil Rights in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services manipulated the definition of sex to include sexual orientation and gender identity under Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare. Oh, baby. Wow. Think of the surgeons. Think of the poor doctors. They're being forced to take part in surgeries. Fuck off. Fuck off. No, they aren't. No, they aren't. Fuck off. I just wanted to get inside their perspective a little bit for a second, and just understand that this is the perspective they're coming from. They see Texas as this holdout. This has a lot to do with ethnostatus logic. Like when you see ethnostatists talk about like their ideal world, they think that ethnic groups have their own region and just stay in it and then don't mix ever, except maybe with controlled, allowed amounts determined by each group or whatever. It's relevant to bring that up because evangelicals support Israel, both vocally and financially, because they believe that getting all the Jews into Israel initiates the final chapter of the Bible, because they're trying to speedrun the rapture. Because they're insane, because they're crazy people. But it's relevant that, like, it's that thought process that, like, we'll have our region and they'll have their region and that's okay. And then it's this besieged mindset that kind of, your Alex Joneses or whatever believe in, where, like, everyone outside of a certain place is, like, coming to get them. And it's this war of these huge powers who are trying to, like, shrink away, like, chip away at their civil liberties. And that Texas is this great defender of freedoms or whatever. Oh. Yeah. Those poor doctors having to do the things they trained for. Yeah, imagine. Surgeon held at gunpoint, forced to do top surgery, visibly weeping. Won't somebody think of the titties? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Was about to have a weed break, but then found out this happened. Fry Thompson, go have your weed break. Just do it, and just maybe it'll be easier to deal with then. I don't know. Could be. Yeah, I just wanted to get inside that perspective a little bit and understand that kind of thinking. They think that they're defending. Yeah. Conservatives really are such sick little fucks, huh? Just thinking that you're, like, saving some kind of old world, As if trans people haven't been medically transitioning for thousands of years, as in literally thousands of years. There are clamps from the followers of Kybel in the British Museum, for the practice of castration, for bottom surgery that they were doing on trans women in ancient Greece. Fucking hell. You know, you fucking, you know what I mean? Who's denying reality, you know? The Heritage Foundation. And then I wanted to, oh my goodness, this crashed. What's up with that? And then lastly, just before I go off for a little bit and then come back and I'll do my game stream. Fucking RuPaul. Piss off. RuPaul is such a dick. Just like fracking capitalist piece of shit co-opting queer culture for profit. Just gross. Sorry, right. I just really wanted to read a bit of this, which is the biggest threat to transgender healthcare is the Supreme Court. Which is just like, I'm no legal expert at all, but I just wanted to comment on this because to be able to talk about like why it's unlikely that people will that the shit that's going on today is gonna be overturned in a right. A recent Texas ruling has trans folks on the edge, but it's SCOTUS that's the real menace, writes Christopher Stoll of the National Center for Lesbian Rights. On October 15th, a federal district judge in Texas, this is in 2019, by the way. On October 15th, a federal district judge in Texas entered an order permanently barring the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services from enforcing its rule protecting transgender people from discrimination in healthcare under the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. That decision has generated confusion and fear, leaving many transgender people uncertain whether federal law will still protect them if they are denied insurance coverage for transition-related care or turned away by a hospital or other healthcare provider. The good news is that healthcare discrimination against transgender people is still unlawful under the ACA. The Texas court's order doesn't change that, but then we were just reading this, which is the result to it. It was a federal district court judge. This was later on. This was 2021. Anyway, so I just wanted to go to the thing about the kind of about the Supreme Court, because this is what's kind of important, is the legal infrastructure is what I wanted to highlight. Pupbug says, I missed the beginning of the stream. I have trans siblings in Texas. How worried should I be? What you should do is check out this link. You should check out this link and provide it to them, and any assistance that you can to get people out of Texas. Because it is, this is a point at which people have to just flee, because this is Greg Abbott making it illegal to be trans in Texas. And so trans people need to get out, and cis people inside and outside of Texas have to do everything they can to change this situation, because not all the trans people are going to get out of Texas. Yep. But here's the important thing. Texas court's decision does not eliminate the crucial protections against trans discrimination. They're in the ACA itself. Congress created those protections, and only Congress can change them. In fact, during more than 2.5 years, the Texas court has prevented HHS from enforcing its rule. Transgender people facing discrimination by healthcare providers and insurance have been able to successfully sue those providers under the ACA itself. For example, the National Center for Lesbian Rights and Transgender Law Center filed a case on behalf of Catherine Prescott, the mother of Kyla Prescott, a transgender boy. Is that meant to be Kyla? Whatever. Transgender boy who tragically died by suicide shortly after facing discrimination by staff at Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego. In 2017, a federal court ruled that Catherine's lawsuit could proceed because, regardless of HHS's rule, the ACA directly protects transgender people in healthcare settings. And just this past August, a federal court permanently barred Wisconsin from enforcing a categorical exclusion for coverage of transition-related care in its Medicaid program because that exclusion violated the ACA's sex discrimination provision. yeah, I just wanted to read a bit of that, to just talk about, I guess, God, I'll read more of it in a second. I'm getting a little, I'm thinking about the boy who died. It's dead kids. It's dead kids is what this is, and that's fundamentally what it is. And there's no other way. There's no two ways about it. It's that's what this is. That's what this is, and that's what it's actually for, and like meant to create and meant to enforce. And it's doing it, and it's gonna do it, and it's really fucked. And I hope that any kids in Texas who can stay strong and other people work to get them out, basically. Okay. I'm going to carry on reading this a little bit. But there's another case that could put those federal protections at risk, and it's before the US Supreme Court. On October 8th, the Supreme Court heard arguments in a case brought by Amy Stevens, a funeral director in Michigan who was fired from her job because she told her employees she is transgender and intended to transition. That case doesn't concern the ACA, but it does involve a similar legal issue, whether the Title VII of Civil Rights Act of 1964, which also bars discrimination because of sex, protects transgender workers. So that's the kind of thing that TERFs are pushing really hard against in the UK. And check it out. Here are American lawmakers using decisions made in the UK to enforce their regime of terror. So see how if TERFs could successfully argue, even in a case that was then overturned, could successfully argue that, that there's sex-based rights and there's gender and they're different things, and that you can't protect transgender people based on that. Then you see how that then would be able to be cited by American lawmakers for their purpose, which is exactly what they're paying them for. Like this is a financial relationship with benefits for the people who pay TERF organizations, TERF think tanks, TERF politicians the money. There's a direct agenda going on here, and it's actually plain to see. It's actually crystal clear. They're killing children, and cis people don't fucking care. Yeah, that's about the size of it. Right. If the Supreme Court says Title VII doesn't affect transgender workers, that would set a negative precedent that will affect how courts apply other federal sex discrimination laws, including the ACA. Depending on exactly how the court rules, its decision could either confirm and strengthen protection of transgender people under the ACA, or make it harder or even impossible to sue providers and insurers that discriminate against transgender people under federal law. That's part of what makes this the most important case involving the rights of transgender people ever to come before the Supreme Court. A decision against the employee would be a shocking reversal of more than 2 decades of court decisions protecting transgender workers, but it could also narrow or eliminate life-saving access to healthcare. No matter what happens, we must continue to fight for a healthcare system that supports transgender people and ensures they are able to obtain medically necessary care. In the months ahead, as the Supreme Court ponders Stevens' case, remember that much more than the right to be free from workplace discrimination is at stake. It's also the ability to access life-saving care that allows many transgender people to lead healthy, authentic lives and to participate as equal members of our society. So there it is. I'm gonna take a little break for reasons I hope I don't have to explain, and I will be back playing the final part of Pathologic in 15 minutes. So if you want to be around for that, be around for that. If you don't wanna, you don't gotta. As ever, when this kind of news is happening and I'm reporting on it, trans people, do everything you can today to take care of yourself. And cis people, do everything you can to take care of trans people. I am going to, no matter what else happens, no matter where I go, I am going to be working to get trans people out of the places that they can't live. And that's not taken lightly. Moving away from your family, away from your friends, away from everyone you know, and to somewhere where you probably where you may well not know anyone, and have to start over, especially when you're trans, is not easy. It's not fun. But it is something that more and more people are gonna need. And it's just it's going to become this increasing refugee crisis. So I'm really not trying to make I'm really not trying to make this about the UK. I'm not even really trying to draw parallels, but I'm trying to point out how and why evangelical policymakers and think tanks and billionaires like the Kochs give TERFs their money is for this purpose. And for the purposes of enforcing similar things around the world. And if there are Canadians watching, I've been saying this for a while, but you need to do everything you can to fight against TERFs now, because they will do the same shit to your country. They are a vile disease. And if you're the same TERF who I was talking to earlier, do I mean you as a person? No, I mean the thing. I mean the thing that crawled in your ear. I mean the thing that crawled in your ear back when you used to be someone's auntie, back when you used to be someone's mum, back when you used to be someone's friend. That thing that crawled in your ear and has made you have all these opinions that you're not sure if you can tell to the younger kids in your family because they just don't get it because they're so politically correct and they're so online. That thing, that's the real TERF. That thing that crawled in your ear, that's the real TERF. And that thing is a parasitic disease that should be wiped off the earth. I am not trying to make this about the UK. I am trying to warn people around the world because of how these exact people, I mean Greg Abbott, are trying to expand what they're doing there through people who call themselves feminists. I'm gonna go for 15 minutes and I'll be back to play some Pathologic. Thank you for bearing with me. I know this hasn't been an easy one. I know it's really tough. This will be up on the archive channel in case you're coming in late and you missed it. Sophie from Mars streams. It'll be up there. And trans people, take care of yourselves. Cis people, give trans people your money. Give them your money. Money is the thing that helps the most. Give them your fucking money. That's not true. It's not the thing that helps the most. But it is material. And thoughts and prayers are not. So, all right. Those of you who want to stick around, and I will put the stream down and come straight back up again. So there will be at the very least some boppin' tunes for you to listen to for 15 minutes while I'm away. And then I'll be back with some Pathologic. So I'll see you shortly. Okay. Trans people, take care of yourselves. Really, really mean it.